welcome to another edition of One Brooklyn, presented by Brooklyn Borough President Eric L. Adams. On this somber edition, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams led a community vigil in memory of 14-year-old Edwin Ajacalon, a Guatemalan immigrant who worked as a deliveryman for a local restaurant. He was killed on Saturday afternoon, November 25th, in Sunset Park when a speeding car slammed into his bicycle and dragged him for half a block. At the site of the crash, Brooklyn Borough President Adams joined with his family, as well as other New Yorkers who have lost loved ones to traffic violence, and then along with neighborhood advocates including Council Member Carlos Menchaca and Transportation Alternatives, in mourning this loss and demanding action for safer streets, including long-demanded speed cameras.
Good evening. I am Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, and I'm joined here with various community leaders and activists, Councilmember Menchaca, Edwin's uncle, Mr. Vicente, State Senator Jesse Hamilton, who represents this area, Paul Steely White from Transportation Alternatives, Hank Miller, Families for Safe Streets, and Eric Salgado as well, who would do a closing prayer with us, and as well as Reverend Herbert Daughtry. This is truly just a heartbreaking moment. A young boy, 15 years old, coming here to experience the American dream, only to be taken and his family experience an American nightmare. It is something that should not happen with the crashes that continue to take place on this street. We cannot continue to place white ghost bikes on the roadways to indicate when another family has lost their loved one. And of my understanding, I said 15, but of my understanding, I believe he's 14 years old. 14 years old. And it really doesn't make it any less painful if someone is 14, 42, or 94. And when you start to examine some of the vehicle violence that we have witnessed over the last few years, that is part of the tragedy. The ages of the people who are involved are so widespread. When you speak with the families of survivors and hear them call out the names each month, with thousands of people are the victims of vehicle crashes, you begin to realize how this impacts real people in a very real way. Here, young child saving money to send back to his family in Guatemala, believing that the streets here are paved with opportunities, not paved with death. Some would look at the video and ask the question, well, was he following every bicycle rule on the road? A mistake should not end in death. Particularly those of us who ride every day and use our bikes to move about the city, we are having a voice of continuing using alternative forms of vehicle transportation, yet our streets need to become more safe to ensure that people can use the roadways in a safe fashion. And that's why we're happy to have Senator Hamilton here. One of the number one issues that appears to be part of this vehicle crash was the speeding. We're of the understanding that the police department is looking at the cameras to make the determination if the operator of the vehicle was speeding. That's why we need more speed cameras in the city, and the state legislators cannot continue to be in the way of this very real manner to decrease these deaths and these serious accidents. Particularly in an area like this where we fought hard to get the speed limit down to 25 hours with all of the advertisement, all of the notifications, all of the desires to decrease the deaths that we saw for so many years escalate. Vision Zero is not Vision 1, it's not Vision 2, it's not Vision 3, it's Vision 0. we want no one losing their life to a vehicle crash as we saw. 14 years old, participating in what is the trademark of the American experience, raising money to send to your family to stabilize their lives in countries that are not as fortunate as ours. How do you tell those parents that their child was killed on the streets of city of New York for merely trying to make and eke out a better life? This is so horrific. The American dream turned into an American nightmare that they will never be able to live through. And so we want to renew our calls to our state lawmakers. It has been proven that when you utilize speed cameras, it's impacted behavior of those who are speeding through our streets. And we're calling on the New York City Police Department to do an expeditious, thorough investigation to determine if the action of the vehicle was endangering the lives of not only young Edwin, but anyone who was on the streets this day. Our streets are not only for the usage of vehicles. It's for the usage of those who ride bikes and skateboards and walk across the street and rollerblade and any form of transportation. And so to the family members, each time they read another story of a loved one who's lost, those survivors renew the pain and anguish from the family members that they lost. Just a few weeks ago, we were at City Hall counting off the names of family members who have died from vehicle crashes and the thousands who experience it each day. We can no longer continue to have this take place. And so I want to call up my colleagues in government who represent this area, who is a bike rider like myself and has done so much to move forward with the concept of Vision Zero, City Councilman Carlos Menchaca.
Yeah, thank you.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Estamos aquí juntos, unidos por Edwin. Algo que pasó aquí. Edwin. Esto no es fácil porque nosotros aquí conocemos el trabajo que hacen los inmigrantes aquí en esta ciudad. Aquí murió en esta intersección por un carro que fue que pasó aquí con alta velocidad. Él era un inmigrante de solo 14 años que vino solito de Guatemala, solo. Los padres de Edwin están en Guatemala ahora. No me puedo imaginar el dolor que sienten este momento al hablar de perder su hijo. Algo muy tremendo por una familia, pero no nomás la familia, pero para la comunidad. La familia de Edwin y a todos los que lo conocieron, les doy mi cariño y mis más profundas condolencias. Edwin era un joven inmigrante trabajador. Él enviaba el dinero a casa en Guatemala. Tenía esperanzas de un futuro mejor, como todos nosotros, como todos los neoyorquinos. La gran pérdida de su familia también es una pérdida compartida por toda la ciudad de Nueva York. Muchos de nosotros entendemos lo que significa venir aquí, a esta ciudad. Sabemos que lo que es para un migrante un esfuerzo muy grande a formar parte de algo grandioso. Eso murió también aquí, en estas calles. Esta noche, en esta vigilia, le ofrezco a su familia toda la asistencia, no nomás yo, pero todos los electos aquí y las organizaciones que están aquí con nosotros. y necesitamos acción. El presidente del condado, Eric Adams, ya habló de qué es lo que necesitamos aquí, de leyes que tienen que cambiar, seguir cambiando. Junto con la gran tristeza y mis oraciones por la familia, les urjo que todos sigamos luchando para calles más seguras. Eso es la meta. Eso es en el nombre de Edwin. My name is Carlos Menchaca. I'm a city council member representing this incredible, amazing, beautiful community. And with a heavy heart, I just want to say that the death of Edwin today must be responded with unity in this community and continued effort to change the laws in this community and bring safer streets to every corner of this entire city. Not just in Manhattan, not just in Queens, but in Brooklyn, right here in Sunset Park. Edwin was a worker, and he worked so hard. Let's remember him today and continue to fight for safer streets. All the organizations, all the elected officials, we are committed to making sure that his family has every resource they need right now in this moment of deep, deep sadness. Thank you so much, and let's stay united. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilman. And I think one of the most important aspects of this is our state senator, who is going to talk about the important legislation that needs to move through the state lawmaking legislators in Albany. Senator Jesse Hamilton.
Thank you, Borough President Eric Adams. My condolences to the family for Edwin, who was an all-American boy, living the American dream. He could have been playing basketball, but he was working hard to provide for his family. And in the last year, there has been 3 deaths of young people in this community due to traffic accidents. Whether you're going to school, whether you're going to the park, whether you're going to the supermarket, you should not walk in the street in fear. So myself and other colleagues in the state Senate will fight hard to make sure we get Edwin's Law passed next year, where we have speed cameras in intersections that we know are hazardous to people in our community. Many times when I cross the street, I'm hesitant for someone driving and speeding and not paying attention to the road. A lot of times people are driving, I see them on their cell phones, I see them texting, and a car can be a dangerous instrument if you're texting or on your cell phone not paying attention. And they call it an accident. But if you willfully drive fast, if you willfully text while driving, if you willfully make a telephone call on your phone while driving, then if you hit someone and kill them, how can you call it an accident? You willfully disregard the lives of others because of a person's selfishness. So Vision Ground Zero has to be made a reality. It's too many young lives that are being lost. And for the family, for a young man who had a bright future, potentially could have been whatever he wanted to be in life, lost his life because he was working and contributing to his family. And I know how that is, because I worked from 11 years old until now. In a single parent household, I had to contribute. And a lot of times, parents and family, when you take one life away, it's not the life of the child, it's the mother, the father, the uncles. It rips apart the whole community. And now's the time for healing. Now it's the time to get legislation passed to make sure no more lives are lost senselessly to vehicle traffic. So I pledge tonight to pass legislation in Albany for Edwin's Law and so many other youths in our community who have passed away. It's time for Albany to step up. It's time for the governor to step up. It's time for the IDC, the Democrats, and the Republicans to say, enough's enough. Let's get our speed cameras done, and let's slow down the traffic in our streets. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Hamilton. We also, just a unified effort from all of our electeds, Congresswoman Nydia Velasquez office is here, as well as the mayor's office is here as well. So it is a unified show of support. I think the loss of young Edwin just really impacted us all, particularly those of us who have lost family members to vehicle crashes, as well as anyone who has a child, a son. I could only imagine how this is ripping through their family. And we want to hear from Edwin's uncle, Mr. Vicente. And we want to say to you, Mr. Vicente, tu dolor es nuestro dolor. Your pain is our pain.
Bueno, queremos que escuche alguna palabra de ti, si podemos. Yo le voy a traducir.
Más que todo, buenas noches a todos los que están aquí.
His uncle is saying good evening to everyone. His name is Eduardo Vicente. He is obviously hurt. You can give him a minute to address the crowd. No puede hablar. So I'm going to speak on his behalf because I had the opportunity to speak to him before this press conference. My name is Denise Felipe Adams, and I'm here representing the Borough President Eric Adams. I had a good conversation with Edwin's uncle, and there's one thing that aside that he's experiencing his pain, he wants everyone to know that Edwin is a hard worker. He came here to provide for his family back in Guatemala. He came here struggling. He didn't know English, but he knew that he wanted the American dream. His uncle did share with me to please, if there's anyone out there who want to contribute or help with the family, to please contact the Borough President's office or the Reverend Eric Salgado, because he does not want anybody to receive contributions on their behalf when they know that they're heartbroken right now. They have no means of organizing any of this. So we want to uplift his family and support them. He has had a hard opportunity to make sense of all of this and put this in order. We thank his family for coming out, his lovely wife and the community, George, and we have many of the Guatemalan community that's here tonight. But we do ask that you can be as supportive as you can and be patient with them, and please reach out to one of the churches because they just don't want to cause any confusion. Yo algo especial que usted quiere que yo le diga, aparte de que no le dé cosas, dinero a otra persona. Yo hago otra cosa que usted quiere que yo le diga sobre de Edwin, aparte de que no dé dinero en otro lado. Díganme. Yes. Okay, we have a family member who also wants to speak on their behalf.
Antes de todo, buenas noches, bienvenido a poder estar con nosotros, lo que es un amigo. Lamentablemente, de fallecimiento de nuestro amigo Edwin Vicente. El motivo en por qué estamos en este país, que lamentablemente que nuestro país, Guatemala, nuestro gobierno es una de la causa en por qué estamos en este país, en motivo de que el estudio, todo ya pagado, y entonces el problema de nuestros padres no pueden darnos el mejor estudio, ya, y si llegamos a estudiar, ser un maestro, no hay trabajo. Entonces ya desde temprana edad, de 12 años, de 11 años, ya piensan venir a trabajar. La única que buscamos es un trabajo, porque nuestros padres, nuestra madre, no cuenta con económicamente que nos puede dar. Es precisamente por eso venimos en este país, para trabajar, para luchar, para hacer algo en nuestra vida a futuro. Yo les agradezco mucho y le pido la colaboración a diferentes organizaciones, amigos, hermanos que desean colaborar con nosotros. Acá estamos para poder recibirlo, para poder enviar el cuerpo a la familia. La familia no cuenta en efectivo o dinero económico para poder subsistir los gastos, para poder trasladar a su estado. Son pobres, creo que viven en un lugar, ni carro entra. Entonces, el pobre niño viene a luchar a un futuro, pero Dios lo guardó, así lo quiso, y con todo respeto y a la vez de su familia, les agradezco, bienvenido y gracias por todo, por estar con nosotros en esta noche.
Let me
Feliz
translate.
noche.
I'm going to translate what he said. In his government, their hometown in Guatemala, the government, he said, it's not favorable to the community. And at a young age, all they think of is because of lack of wonderful education, which we have it here. In his home country, all they think about is working, coming to the American dream, providing for their family here. And he said, on behalf of this family, like he did, he came here to provide for his family, to look for something, just become one with the community. He welcomes everyone to come and ingratiate themselves with this community and get to know them because they're hard workers. They only come here so that they can send back and make something of themselves. He said even the education system over there, if they were to go to school and become teachers, there's really no work. The education system in Guatemala is no good, it's not effective. And that's the reason why at a young age, the parents sends them off to the United States so that they can provide for the family. And that was the dream that Edwin came here to New York so that he can provide for his family. Unfortunately, the hometown where the family's from, not even a car can go through there. They have to walk to get there. So the family is not asking for anyone to send them money, they just want to be able to retrieve their son's body back. So if you can help in assistance to make sure that this can be possible, so they can receive their son's body back to Guatemala, we ask that you can do anything possible to help that. Please extend yourselves to them. All they want to do is work here. They don't want to take anything away from the American dream. They want to be part of the dream. So I say on behalf of George, thank you.
No están solos.
Gracias.
Somos tu familia. We are your family.
Amigo.
We also joined by Councilman Brad Lander and also a representative from Transportation Authority, Transportation Alternative, our partner in this. We're going to hear from Brad first and then from TA.
First, of course, we just want to express our deepest grief on behalf of everyone here. As the father also of teenage kids, we send our love and our solidarity and all the strength that we can. I want to thank the Borough President and Councilmember Menchaca for organizing this, and I especially want to thank members of Families for Safe Streets. We have with us tonight folks who have lost their children and their loved ones. And we were just standing together for the World Day of Remembrance for traffic crash victims. So Families for Safe Streets and Transportation Alternatives. There's no way to staunch the grief. There's no way to make this better. But what I will say is this. The work that people who are standing out here tonight that have done to fight through their grief and to build a community that can hold on to you and hold on to each other despite that loss is the only way that I could see that it's possible for anyone to move forward. And because of that work, there is a community of people who have fought through this grief together and found some way to move forward. And they have changed this whole city in deep and profound ways. Because of the work that the folks standing behind us have done together, we changed how we think about this. And the NYPD, we've got Inspector Gonzalez who's here tonight. The NYPD have changed in how they look at these investigations, and our district attorney has changed his focus in how we look at these investigations.
It will go towards assisting the family on this unexpected tragedy and the cost. So whatever you can give to help the family will be deeply appreciated.
De nuevo, el presidente del condado, Eric Adams, dice que si estamos haciendo una recolecta ahora mismo, si tienen algo para donar para la familia, esta recolecta va para el pueblo.
God, once again, we come to this place, a place that we've been to before. We've not been with other children who have been killed by accidents, by bad guns, and even within our community. We pray for this family. We pray that you would strengthen them.
And the sign to its final posting place on the corner of 23rd and 5th. We'll be leading it there, the borough president and some individual family.